One of my labels that I actually proudly wear is that I am the daughter of two artists. So I kind of get it honestly. I am born and raised in Kentucky, a graduate of Russell High School in Russell, Kentucky, but I moved to New York City. And during the whole Twin Towers falling and, the U.S. deliberating that they were going to declare war in Iraq, I was going through a personal transformation at the same time, and oddly, I had no idea, but that all those things, personal and community and national and international, was really going to hit me all at once. And when it did, and a friend asked me to participate in this artist anti-war rally in New York City, like a casual, like at a bookstore, like we are here. And I was like, sure, but then that night I literally, and I say this in my play Snapshot, what could I say about war? And I don't know. Vietnam has been a word in my family since I can remember. Everything was always we always talked about the Vietnam War. And then I was like, ding dong, you have a lot to say about war and how it affects the family. So that night I really wrote my play Snapshot. And it's about my search to find my dad missing since the Vietnam War. And I say missing, not because he was missing in action, but the person who left at 19 years old to fight in that war, that boy, that young man never returned. So we say he's missing. And I'm like, what do I know about war? Oh, Lord. What I know about war is this. What I know about war when I was 13, when I was thinking about my dad looking at that photo album that I have of him. What do I know about not living with him at this age? What do I know about 17? What do I know about 30? I just kept writing. What I know about war is this. What I know about war is this. What I know. And those scenes came out of my hand that night too. So the whole framework, yes, literally was born in one night. When I look back now, and I know now more of the pieces of my dad's life have come together for me, and I'm like, how did I know to write all that? Because I didn't grow up with him. So it must have been meant for me to do it, I guess, because there's too much that's dead on, and I didn't know him, and I don't know how it all came out. People talk about that divine creative process, whatever. Yeah, I guess it happened that night. I think everybody who works independently realizes you are a photographer, you are a writer, you are your own director. Like the Snapshot that's running on KET and has been on PBS stations around the country, I had to direct myself in that. Although I had, an assistant, I had lighting designer and sound people, I directed myself in that. And I had a full house audience that we had to stop and start occasionally because of technical difficulties. And friends were like, girl, I don't even see how in the world were you able to stop, fix your mic, fix lighting, and go bam, right back into character. But I think we got to do that to, as an independent artist, you have to be able to do all those things. Artistically, my biggest influence is my mother. She was a trailblazer in her Flatwoods, Kentucky, Russell community. She forced her community to look at race because of a love that she had. So she's so strong. She's an inspiration. She's so creative. She's like one of the best choreographers I've ever seen. Like my mom, I'm like, let's ask my mom. Because she can look at any piece of music. She can look at costumes. She can create costumes. She's amazing like that. And she's had her dance studio for 51 years. And she's my biggest inspiration. My mom, as a dancer, always has music playing. I can't live without music. And then the fact I sometimes wonder if my dad, being a singer, an artist, a musician himself, if that wasn't just born to me from him. His band, the Explosive Dynamics, they were very successful, not just regional. I mean, they often played in Lexington and Louisville. I just was told the other day there was a television show in Cleveland back in the day that they were the new up-and-coming group. James Brown was on the show at the same time. They said after they did that show, they knew they had made it. They all ran back to the hotel and jumped in the pool in their tuxedos. So I was like, wow. And that was part of my pain in writing the show, too. Because of that war, I did not have that legacy in my house every day teaching me more about music. I learned a lot about producing a show when I was the director of School of the Future in Manhattan. It's a middle school and high school, grades 6 through 12. Every year I had my staff and students create new pieces of theater that were contemporary issues for us in the school or in the community. We did them so successfully, I think they taught me. As an artist, to have that freelance lifestyle that you need to have to create, because you can't be in a job that doesn't allow you that flexibility to create. So a lot of artists should and do and need to learn how to teach, because there is a market to fill there with children especially, but a lot of other places. And because I grew up teaching in my mom's dance studio, it was a natural fit for me to do that. Like, it's second nature. When I would perform Snapshot, your experience, your energy, her energy, his energy, I'm inspiring us to sort of have this emotional, spiritual, energetic, that's what theater is anyway, right? But mine gets pretty heavy, and we all go there together. And then when I'd finish, I would see people, their hearts like right there with me. And I'm like, oh my God. They would start telling me my dad, or I remember what it was like to be teased because I'm mixed race, or I remember about, not having enough money. But it brought up a lot of people's issues. And I was like, I don't want to leave people there by themselves. I don't want to open up that, as my papa says, that can of worms. I don't want to open up a can of worms and not be able to be there with people. This self-exploration seemed to be so valuable to me in my life as it is changing. I was like, this has to be important for others, I would think. I would like to be a facilitator in their journey, facilitating thoughts and reflection on their own life experiences and how it impacts them today. They always say in New York City, like, the city gets at you every 5 years. If you're not born and raised in that tempo, that environment, like, you can't take it after 5 years. So I did 5, 10, 15, 18. It just really, at one point, I was like, I had birthed the show, had been to South Africa, been to some other places, and I missed home. And I missed my intimate community. And it was like, wow, I think I need to go home and do things for my own tribe and see if I could be helpful there. So now I'm flying all over the country, performing Snapshot, being a keynote speaker, doing my workshop, What's Your Story, all over the country. So that's not too bad, because I like traveling. So I'm like, hey, I can come home to my Kentucky home, be on the hillside with the deer and the groundhogs, and then I can be on a plane and be in some other city. That ain't too bad. When I do this work with people, performing and the workshop stuff, I don't care where I am. I feel at home because we connect on a heart level, and it feels so safe and so wonderful. So it's home everywhere. Who'd have thought my greatest tragedy becomes my greatest gift? After the show, woo, I'm ready to go. I could run a marathon. You, as an audience member, collectively, we have that experience, and you give me so much by being a witness. I need you to feel that empowered. So I say thank you to every person who's ever sat and listened to me tell that story, because you've empowered me. Kentucky Foundation for Women, awesome. They help fund my website. I was able to have the freedom. What I love about them is they trust you as an artist. They allow you to have your own creative vision. If they believe in you enough and support you financially, then you do your thing. And then you show the end product. And that, my website was one of those things. Kentucky Arts Council, Kentucky Foundation for Women, you all let us artists know who've made a commitment to being an artist, who live the lifestyle of an artist. You give us a grounding space, a launching pad. So that's the primary thing for me. You create that foundation for community, for connection, for validation in the state of Kentucky. And then the resources, like the workshops that we did on business management and things like that, those are invaluable because it's a hustle to live as an artist. I hope to, in the next year, really be settled in my screenplay. It's expanding the story. I want to tell the full story about this mixed race couple from Appalachia and how our past influenced so much of who we are right now. We got to know who we are, where we came from, in order to be more present for you right now. So I want to do that in the screenplay and get that into production soon. We want to sign some contracts and get to some deals and get it going. And I want to show the world about us in Eastern Kentucky, how we live. We've been mixing races for a long time, y'all. you know? So I want to share to the world about our culture. So keep an eye out. We got to say big shout out and thanks to Wild Fig Bookstore here in Lexington on North Limestone. I love that this bookstore exists. We actually came here, again, someone who I met, Kentucky Arts Council Masterclass, invited me to have a meeting here. It was the first time I've been here. And my mom and I both, as soon as we walked in, we were like, uh-oh, we found it. It's got that energy, that vibe that you feel so comfortable as a creative, as a person who, it's a meeting spot. And it's beautifully laid out. The quality of books that they have on the shelves. Then the food, y'all, is good. The teas are really good. The baked goods are really good. So it's the real deal. Wild Fig Books. So I want to encourage everybody to have all their meetings here, at least stop by. But I love Kentucky Arts Council. Thank you for keeping me grounded. Sometimes you almost lose your head when you're here. You're like, where's my tribe? Artistic tribe. And you guys have been able to give us a home, a foundation.